So it's long been official now that England will receive a 5th Champions League spot for league positions next year. Nice. However, there are 2 teams that decided, either mutually or independently, we still don't know, that this is not enough. These 2 teams have gone out of their way to ensure that those numbers are pumped up. One of these 2 teams is going to play Champions League football in the 25-26 football season. One of these 2 teams will win European silverware. And one of these 2 teams, despite finishing far off adrift, will officially finish with a better season than Arsenal. Today we talk about a tale of lower table minnows overcoming odds. It's a true underdog story of fighting for glory against all odds with limited resources. Okay, I couldn't get that one out. Hello, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tinashe. I don't really know whether to laugh or cry or do both right now. Something that Man United has taught me over the years is that you really need to question every positive emotion that creeps up. Do I really need to smile today when disappointment is just around the corner? The answer, this season at least, is often no. But we're happy today. Guys, football is such a funny thing, honestly. Opinions can change so quickly. Both of these teams have been slandered to there and back for the entire season, rightfully so, by the way. But for one of them, in about 5 years' time, when people think about this season, they're not really going to remember where they finished in the league. I mean, they will, but the sentiment around it is going to be a lot more positive. It's going to be they won the Europa League, but then also finished in X, Y, or Z position. There's some positivity behind there, one of admiring achievement. Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur are in a European final in 2025, and more importantly, Antony is in a European final. Chelsea, beware. Antony really is the feel-good story of the year. He's a case of the masses completely dogging on you and then completely flipping onto your side, and it's wonderful to see. This man cannot under any circumstances go back to Manchester United. Please, just let him live his life. Let him be happy, okay? You know, Wilcox, Barada, Radcliffe, just make it happen. Manchester United and Inter Milan have a lot in common, apart from the fact that they will be playing one another in the Super Cup in a few months. Both teams have produced remarkable scorelines on aggregate in the past month. It's been a whirlwind of a season. People often DM me asking me why I don't talk about Man United that much, or at least as much as I used to maybe 2 years ago or so on the channel. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. The reason is I'm one of those really emotional fans where if United lose on the weekend, it ruins my entire week. Genuinely. I will be 30 at the end of this year. And this has pretty much been the case since I was 10. And it's kind of counterintuitive for me too, because for the channel at the very least, talking about United doing badly gets a lot of clicks. I could probably be doing a lot better than I'm doing right now, but I just can't. And the worst part is that I'm also a Sharks supporter, and if you watch rugby, you probably know what I'm talking about. If United and the Sharks lose on a weekend, you might as well just throw away the whole week for me. So yeah, I've been depressed for the past 12 years or so. God forbid a man has feelings. On that note though, the Challenge Cup last year, it was won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm just saying. The league's been a write-off since, at the very least, October of last year. It's all been at the cup competitions for the club this year. And we've seen a lot of joy in them, actually. Knocked Arsenal out the FA Cup, great Europa League campaign against good teams, and then Spurs has to show their head yet again. 3 times United have faced Spurs this season, twice in the league, once in the League Cup. All losses. But as Amorim says,
it's hard for the club to lose 4 times in a row, so we have that. We can think that way.
So let's talk about the semi-final for a bit. I was very nervous going into it for obvious reasons. United do not do well against Spanish sides. Every time the team's been knocked out of a European competition since the last time they won one, which was in 2017, a Spanish side has been responsible. I guess now they don't do well against any team, so that particular curse isn't as effective. But like I said, very nervous going into this tie, and if we're all being completely honest, Bilbao should have put a lot more numbers on the board in this tie. They were very good. I'm surprised they scored nothing with how they were attacking. Long story short, if United start against Spurs in the final, like they did in either of these 2 legs against Athletic Club, they will lose. But in this tie at the very least, the boys pulled through. Winger Maguire made an appearance. Everything always falls to Casemiro's head. I don't know why. And Bruno is just... he's great. Then they lost to Brentford on the weekend. We don't talk about that. Which takes us to last night. Again, terrible start. A team with better finishes and overall quality makes United pay, and they do not go through. Harry Maguire with a wayward pass that led to the first goal. And honestly, I couldn't believe that he made that mistake, especially after I made that extremely high budget montage in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, it's probably the most polished professional 5 seconds of content this channel has ever seen. At this point, I began to fear the worst. And then, wait a minute. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Did anyone else catch the Bilbao player trying to save the ball here? Buddy, you are not the goalkeeper. In that first goal, the turn, the curl, if there was a roof, it would have been raised. And this was very clearly Mason Mount's best performance in a United shirt since he arrived at the club, and he deserves it based on all the time that he's been out for. I've never heard any sane Chelsea fan talk badly about him. We've never heard any manager speak ill about him, so he's clearly doing something behind the scenes. Hopefully this is where his United career really takes off. The substitutions overall were great. Shaw, Mount and Ahmad brought some technical brilliance to the table, and it showed immediately. If United are to succeed in the immediate future, I'm talking the next year to 2 years, we need Ahmad to be fit at all times. His direct running, that technical flair, it really changed the game as soon as he came on. Now his decision making, before his injury, it was getting better kind of game by game, and you can see the progression. He's been out for a while and a bit rusty at times, but he's going to get back there, and when he does. And I love Garnacho, but we really need more consistent quality. I can't take watching him miss sitter after sitter, watching him refuse to pass to Højlund, who must feel like he's invisible half the time. Dorgu is a bit of an enigma to me, but obviously a great prospect nonetheless. He is supremely athletic, fast, agile, sharp, all that stuff. And I like how he's fit into the team with the limited amount of time that he's been there. And I can definitely also see him being very, very important to the left flank in the coming months, years, and whatever. His delivery does need a little bit of work, but it's nothing that can't be worked on over time. I think he's 19, right? Or 20, maybe 21. Stealing the ball off Bruno in the box, though, that's an odd choice, I must say. Casemiro's looking like he's got his mojo back. Amorim seems to have found how to use him with the team, and it's showing. From a confidence standpoint, it was a great result. Ahmad got an assist, Højlund got a goal, Mason Mount got his mojo back, obviously Casemiro was looking good, everything falls to his head. How's that happen? Bruno, of course, came in with his customary goal contribution, the assist, and Yara was great. United is such a weird club. Always competitive for silverware despite what's happening all around them. It's not good for my heart, but it really is admirable. Ruben Amorim may be on the doorstep of something special. Bodo Glimt supporters set fireworks off in the early hours outside of the hotel that the Spurs players were staying at. Doesn't seem like that strategy worked out for them. 5-1 on aggregate. I must admit, I haven't been watching Spurs for about a month and a half or so. I did watch parts of the game next to the United match as it was happening, and the one thing that I did notice from the limited time I was watching was how targeted their aggression was. Not as ruthless as we've seen them do it in the past. They were picking their moments, they were being selectively aggressive, they were time wasting, they were taking their time on the ball before restarts. Real game management, which we have not seen from Spurs properly in the past season or so. I haven't, at the very least. Is this a normal thing? Regular Spurs supporters, let me know what's going on. Are they evolving? If so, they're doing it at the wrong time. Go back. Postecoglou is one of the best examples of how the English press can wear you down. Gone from lovable Aussie bloke with quips and quirks and mates to a man painfully aware that every outlet has already labelled him as a dead man walking. Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur, the battle of the mids, El Trashico, NPC versus NPC, whatever you want to call it. This game is a must-win for either side. It's the difference between having a historical low season and a great year. There is no in-between. They need this. If Spurs win, which they won't, this will oddly enough be their best season of the 21st century. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but it might be just Europa, but I rank it higher than the League Cup. Before we wrap this video up, I want to quickly bring up what I said earlier on about United needing to start games better. Ernesto Valverde, after the match, spoke about how Athletic had United on the ropes in the game. They did. And like I said, they did so over both legs. More importantly to me at least, they did so in the second leg, where they were a weaker side. missing many of their players through suspension, injury, whatever. Neither of the Williams brothers played, and they bossed that first half. If many of those chances that Athletic Club players had fell to Son, Kulusevski, Solanke, they bury them. But we'll have to wait and see how things pan out. And there we have it. Let me know what you guys thought about the match. Leave it all in the comments. That's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.